Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is someone I have been looking forward to for I don't know how many weeks now. I'd like to introduce to you a DJ, singer, artist from LA. Please welcome Dusty Ray. That rhymed. Hi, Dusty Ray.
Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Now, I know you from Livestar, and I just want to tell everybody you can download that in your app store, and if you want to talk to Dusty Ray, you can. He's on there all the time and very, very interactive. But basically, I want you to tell me your story. I've seen you in your studio, I've seen you doing your show, I've seen you DJing, I've seen you do everything, and you blow me away. So what got you started in all this?
Let me think. I was actually, I think, telling this story the other day. I think the first time I really got into doing what I do was when I was like 13, 14, because I was listening to so much music. And I'm just, I guess, kind of like such a naturally maybe kind of creative person. I had a lot of energy at the time, so I kind of like would find these instruments and I would teach myself how to play them and teach myself how to play like my favorite songs. And I just was so obsessed with music that I ended up just learning how to do a lot of it. So I just kind of started writing my own stuff from there.
So,
And it snowballed, started meeting musicians, started meeting like really talented people, started learning from them and, you know.
so you are self-taught?
Well, I'm trying to think. The first thing I ever did was I was in the orchestra when I was like 12.
Wow.
So I was like playing the violin and reading sheet music at a young age, but I wasn't like really that interested in reading sheet music and stuff, so I kind of like would zone out and not read the sheet music, and I would like kind of just play by ear, you know what I mean? So I could just look around and just hang out and not be stressed. I would kind of force myself to not have to read the music. And then once I got out of that class, I started playing like guitar by ear. I just picked up a guitar and just started, this is probably pretty close, and then that was when I went crazy, was when I started playing the electric guitar, because I was so into punk rock and I was so into just the idea of like being on a stage and making a lot of noise and being in front of a lot of people. That was like something I really, really got seriously interested in at a young age, for sure.
Yeah, and I guess that would be addicting to be up in front of a crowd. I've been doing radio, so I'm usually behind the mic, so I'm not up in front of a crowd. So I couldn't imagine the feeling. It must be electrifying.
I'm sure it kind of feels the same because like people are listening, which is kind of what is the scary part about it. But the fun part about it is, yeah, physically being in front of, a bunch of people, seeing them there. I remember my first performance was actually in the cafeteria at school, and I was about 13. And I remember we got booked for it. It was me and my friends. We had a band. And we got booked for this thing, and I didn't really know what to think of it, but I was like, okay, cool, this will be my first time to try out, singing and playing the guitar, and we'd play, like, punk rock songs and stuff, but I show up, and the entire school is in the cafeteria, just hanging out, and they're like, okay, set up and play, and I was like, oh my god, like, I did not expect this. I was, like, 13. So I just threw on the guitar and just did it, and that was my first experience playing, and I just loved it. Remember I jumped on my amp, I did a jump off the amp with the guitar. I just went crazy, and I loved it, and that was my first one. So since then I just kind of had this positive energy about it. I always want to get on the stage and kind of try to do my thing.
Well, you do it well. Now, if you had to pick one of your favorite performances, because you've performed a lot, what would it be? Like, which one is your favorite that stands out in your mind the most?
That's funny you asked. I'd never thought about that, but something I do as a writer is the first thing that comes to mind is usually the right answer, right? The first thing that pops up. So when you said that, the first thing I thought of was we were playing, I was in a band called Silent Envy, when I was about 18, 19. I was playing in actually the same band I was just talking about when I was playing that cafeteria. We lasted for like 5 years. And then this band in California picked me up, and I ended up joining their band to be a lead singer. And we went on these tours all across the West Coast. And it was my first time being on the West Coast. I was like 20 years old, and we were just touring up and down. And we hit this teen center, and it was in like maybe like something like somewhere between Sacramento and LA, like somewhere in there. I don't know where, but we played this teen center. And there was like 250 kids just squished into this place. And I remember I went on stage, and we just had such a good show. I did my first stage dive of all time into the audience. They caught me, they threw me back on stage, and I did it again. Then the headlining band loved us so much, they asked me to come out during their set, and then I jumped into the audience again. And it was just really, really, really crazy. I'll never forget that. That was a lot of fun.
I would not have the guts to do that. I'd be scared that they wouldn't catch me and I'd fall. I've seen it, and oh my God, it scares me just watching it.
Yeah. Just, I guess looking back on it, I don't really think too long before I'll do something on a stage. I guess if this crowd is there, I'll jump into it. If the amp's there, I'll jump off of it.
Wow. You have more, more trust than I do, anyways. Now,
just got stretched beforehand.
yeah, no kidding, right? And pray. Do a lot of praying. Now, who, like, being a DJ, who have you had, I guess, or who have you DJ'd for, or have you had on your songs? Who is the one that you want to keep coming back?
Like who? Like an artist or something?
Yeah, an artist, or definitely.
I will say that I got into DJing because I was writing so much electronic music. So it's funny, like I didn't really look at too many DJs and want to emulate them. I was kind of like just producing dance music. And I was like, dude, how do I go out and perform this? How do I want to sing on top of it. I had this weird kind of thing. It was really kind of like a new sound. And the only way to really do it was to throw it on a turntable and a laptop and do it that way, because that's the kind of music it was. But when I started doing that, there's this artist, his name's Dash Berlin. That's the name of the group, I guess, Dash Berlin. It's like a DJ from, I don't know where, maybe like Holland or something like that. But that music stood out to me more than any music in EDM because it was super melodic, it's super positive, it's very rise and fall, it's a little bit European, and that actually got me highly interested in like continuing to do electronic stuff because I could hear, I get sick of hearing like club music sometimes and just obnoxious kind of stuff that maybe gets regurgitated a lot. I don't like hearing the same thing over and over. So when I heard Dash Berlin, I was like, wow, this is almost like singer-songwriter music turned into electronic music, which is kind of what I try to do. Keep it emotional and positive and verses and choruses and keep it anthemic, keep it really big. And he does that really well. So I would shout out Dash Berlin if anybody, I guess.
Well, you do it really well too. I'm going to urge everybody to go to his YouTube channel. That's when I fell in love with him, just so you know. His videos are amazing. I've also seen him DJ, I guess, it's DJing when you're using the turntables and all that stuff. I've seen you do that live. That intrigues me to no end because I would never be able to do that. I'm amazed that I can actually dance and, find a beat. Like, how do you make sure that everything sounds right? And is it always spur of the moment, or is it something that you practice before you get up there and do it?
No, I'm a huge tech geek. At the end of the day, like, sometimes I feel like, what I'm doing is almost like a gamer, like what a gamer does or something, because I'll sit on the laptop and I'll figure out new ways to route my sound through this and through that, and recently I've been doing a really kind of almost custom setup because I've been doing a lot of live streaming. So I have a whole rig that goes into my laptop and I can control my sound totally. I love to have total control over what I'm doing. So, for instance, like the other night I performed on, what was it, the Spade show?
The Gong Show. I wasn't even going to mention
the Gong Show.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, it's nothing. I mean, it's because when you guest on an app like that, you can't use the system that I use. So I basically put a speaker in front of a cell phone and was like, oh, I'm sure it'll pick up. I mean, it'll sound like probably pretty bad, but I'm sure you'll at least be able to hear it. But I think it was so loud that the phone, you know, compressed it or whatever. That's why I run with like my mixer and my OBS and I have an awesome USB mixer I use because I'm super particular about sound. I run compressors live and EQs live, and I'm really into my sound being a certain way. So I guess it's all about picking and choosing your battles and where you perform when you're an artist, kind of like me, you know, where you rely on your sound. But I guess I've been getting into more acoustic stuff lately, to be honest. I really like the idea of being able to pick up the acoustic guitar and just sing a great song and perform for somebody that way, you know.
That would be very sexy to have you do that. I'm just saying. If you guys have not, you girls, I should say, have not seen, if you have not seen Dusty Ray, trust me, go look. Now, let's talk about Livestar. Yeah, shout out. Let's talk about Livestar, because are you still doing the morning show that you were doing on Livestar, which, just so everybody knows, is a live video streaming app?
Yeah, I love Livestar. Shout out Livestar.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm happy you brought that up because we've kind of secretly been developing something that is launching tonight. I don't know when this is gonna. I don't know when we're airing, but it's launching actually on Wednesday, the 16th, I think. And what we're doing is we're interviewing artists from all across the planet. Yeah, so I'm hosting a show. It's called Live Artist 360, and we're going to be on Livestar and Facebook and Periscope and YouNow and all of them. And we're going to be just kind of interviewing and connecting with artists, you know, just across the entire like world, and just hearing their stories and their backstories and just like different insights they have on certain things. But I was really interested in that because they want me to host it. So I was really excited to get in and host and be able to talk to artists, because I'm an artist myself, but I love to be around other artists, you know.
Yeah.
Being a solo artist, I don't get to do that often. Honestly, I like to work alone, but I like to be surrounded by talented people, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
So it's going to be really cool to be able to talk to some people. So I'm actually talking to Sabrina Petrini. She's like a Swedish pop artist, and we're going to be talking with her on Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, after you have done your interviews with them, send them my way.
Definitely.
Yeah, because then
they
they get two different platforms. Well, you're doing a whole bunch, but this is a different platform altogether. Now, I want to talk about if it's launching tonight. This interview is going to be up before it launches. So I want everybody to, if you do not have Livestar, please go to your app store and download it, or Google Play, wherever you can get it. Download it. It's a lot of fun. Never mind me finding a whole bunch of talented people like Dusty Ray, and there's going to be a few others that are coming on my show. And Dusty, like I said, he is very, very, very interactive. So if you want to talk to him, you can go on there and he's going to talk to you. Trust me. And this show is going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. And now I'm excited because I didn't know anything about it. So now I have something to look forward to.
Thank you so much. And the Facebook is Live Artist 360, so everyone could go follow. We just launched it like 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I think we're at like 500 likes. So people are getting really excited about it. So I'm pretty excited about just having people I've never met on. You know, talking to people I've never met. So you know how that is.
Yeah, I do. And it's going to be on Periscope and Live Me too, you said?
Yeah, we're going to, I think, slowly get on Live Me and all that, but mainly we're focusing on Facebook and Livestar, as long as the connection holds. It's always kicking us off of Livestar because we use like a technology that's kind of newer. So it's always kind of kicking us off, but We come right back on.
Yeah, yeah, technology's fun. Trust me, I know all about it. Well, I'm totally tuning in for that. So, what time is it going to be on?
So we're gonna do 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight, Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This interview will definitely be up
Cool.
before that, so everybody will be able to go and watch. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome.
Now, you just came out with your debut album, Planet X. I love that it came out April 20th, 2017. Great date.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about, so tell us about that, because we're going to play 2 songs off of that. And you've already mentioned one of the artists that are on one of the songs, Sabrina Petrini. But talk about that album a bit.
So I released an album called Planet X, and that was like a ton of pretty much some of my best content that I had like on my desk at the time. I just put it out there, and we got some really good response. We ended up getting a couple things placed and stuff, so I was like, wow, I really didn't expect that. But what I'm actually doing is re-releasing it because we kind of got in touch with a few people that were able to maybe enhance what I had already done, because I released it independently and I had only released it a few months ago. And so we're actually going to re-release it under my name, The Real Dusty Ray, and it's going to have all of like the same singles, but it's going to have some newer stuff on it and some stuff I didn't have a chance to release. So because there was a lot of older stuff on that album, and I really honestly had some new stuff I really wanted to put out there, and I wanted it to be part of it. So we're going to re-release it with some new remixes and stuff like that. We got some Swedish producers doing some remixes on it of some of the singles, so I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the re-release for sure. That's going to be in October, so everyone can kind of look out for that in October.
Okay.
And I'm actually I'm currently shooting like a film that's going along with it, because the whole album is basically a story about, some of the craziest things that have happened to me in my life have happened in the last couple of years, and I really honestly wanted to just do a almost kind of true life story and film that accompanies the whole album and tells the story really for what it is. So I'm kind of really excited about that.
Wow, so am I now. anytime I get to see you, I'm excited. Now, because you've been doing this for a while and you're really damn good at it, if you had any advice to give any new artist that was maybe interested in EDM or even interested in just any kind of music, what kind of advice would you give them?
Definitely just do whatever you want musically. Like, don't follow any trends, don't listen to anything that anybody's telling you what to do or which way to go. And that's especially for music producers, because it's almost more of a realistic thing for music producers, because if you're following trends, by the time you finish producing whatever trend you're trying to chase, it's over. So that never works. Don't ever do that. But in the long scheme of things, just as a writer or an artist or anything like that, like, just always do what it is that you do, because I think that's what the world is kind of always looking for, is someone that sticks out as like being their self, as opposed to just another copy of what we've already seen. So
that's great advice. And yeah, like no cookie cutters is what I call them. There's just a little too many of them, and that's why I love doing this show, because I'm getting all these independent artists and discovering music that I never would have been able to hear because they don't play it on the radio. So I'm hoping that they start doing that on a more often basis. Okay, so what 2 songs are we going to hear from you?
So you said we're hearing Crush, right? So this is a song that I produced. It was like my first single off the album, and it features an artist whose name is Brian Pranama. But the story is actually kind of interesting. I was just going through Instagram one day, and I came across his voice, and I DM'd him, and it turns out he lives in East Java, Indonesia, and barely spoke English. But we ended up talking, we FaceTimed, we got on the phone, we made it happen. I learned freaking how to speak a little bit. or I tried. Well, he was pretty good at English, so actually, he's very smart. And we totally just connected, and he killed the track, recorded it, sent it back to me, and we like put it out. And I put clips of him in the video too. I'm gonna be dropping the video soon. Again, we're gonna be re-releasing it. So yeah, that's Crush.
And then also Gimme Gimme.
And then oh, cool. So Gimme Gimme is I'm really excited about Gimme Gimme because it features Sabrina Petrini, who we're doing the interview with tonight. And she's a friend of mine. We met through a producer named Kim Falley, who produced like The Runaways and I don't know, all kinds of people. Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan. He worked with everyone.
Wow.
And he introduced us, told us we should be friends, and we've been friends ever since. And I did her album a long time ago, but she sang on this track for me just as kind of like a favor, and then we both ended up falling in love with what it is. So we are shooting a music video for it like this month in Hollywood. We're going to put that out, and we're going to really push that one pretty hard, actually. I think that's going to be probably the lead single for the re-release is Gimme Gimme.
Well, it's a great song. It's both the
Thank
songs.
you.
I mean, if you listen to these songs, people, and you don't get up and start moving, there's something wrong. Because trust me, I've listened to them and listened to them and listened to them. Plus, I've seen Dusty Ray's YouTube videos, and I've seen him perform as a DJ, and the energy is unbelievable. I mean, I can't stop moving when I'm listening. So it's just, they are great songs, and they are like, and you do. It's a positive energy that draws you in and gets you moving and gets you going. And I think it would also makes people fall in love with your songs. It's because they are so positive.
Thank you so much.
Now, I am like thanking fate that we did this interview today, and you are interviewing Sabrina tonight.
Yeah.
And like how weird is that it all worked out? Yeah, that is so great. So I am going to let you go because I know you're a busy guy. I'm urging everybody, please go and watch his YouTube videos. You're going to fall in love with him just like I have. I also know him a little bit on a personal level through Livestar. He's a great guy. He is just an amazing, amazing man. And he's very talented at what he does. And you can also get your music on SoundCloud, correct?
Yeah, definitely SoundCloud. You can search The Real Dusty Ray. Where you want to go really is just go to therealdustyray.com. If you just go there, all my links are there. The YouTube link, you click on the banner at the bottom to subscribe to YouTube and everything. So just hit up therealdustyray.com. And then for the show tonight, just search Live Artist 360 on Facebook, and you can find us. You can find us for the live stream. And thank you so much, Allie. You're so talented and you're so awesome. And I really appreciate you even asking me to be on the show. So, I mean, you asked me I think it was like a month ago. Mm-hmm. So I know you're very busy. So thank you so much for making it happen.
Oh,
really.
my honor.
This is my first interview since I'm re-releasing the album and everything, because I'm always the one doing the interviews.
Oh, wow, that is awesome. I'm glad I was the first. Now your website's going to be up on my website. They can click on it. It's going to link right to your website, so they'll be able to find you really easy. The 2 songs are going to be up there, and thank you. I think you're so talented. I am so honored that you came on my show. And I will see you tonight for sure. And thank you for coming on.
Much love, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.